Amy.
I'm Laura.
And we are TwoPaperGirls.
Today we're going to do our January wrap-up where we are not going to talk about many things because this month has been crazy. We had coursework deadlines all month up until like the 16th of January, and then even then like Amy had work and I was in a slump, but we've still read some things, so we're just going to talk about those. The first thing I'm going to mention is All We Shall Know by Donal, which was I mentioned in December last month because I was like, oh, I'll finish this really soon. But I've decided to DNF it because it was seriously slumping me, because even though the writing style is good and there's some really nice moments, I just don't care about the plot or the characters at all. And because I was slumpy and kind of really busy, I wanted reading to be purely fun. So I'm like, this isn't enjoyable. I'm not enjoying this, but it's also not so good that I feel like I'm going to get something out of it at the end. It was just like a miserable story. I didn't feel like it was going to change my life, but also I didn't care what happened to people, so I've decided to DNF it. This is signed though and everything, and I spent £12 on it, so I'm quite sad. But Amy's going to give it a read, and then I'm going to do a books for trade thing for this. So if you have in the future would like to have this in exchange for a book that you want to get rid of, then let me know.
And now I'm going to talk about the only book that I've read this month, which is Emma by Jane Austen, which I went into really looking forward to, because when I have read Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion in the past, I always have gone into them not really looking forward to them, because Persuasion, when I first read it, I was quite young, we were only about like 16, and I just didn't appreciate it. But with Pride and Prejudice and studying Persuasion, I actually turned out to really like Jane Austen. So when I went into Emma, I was like, oh, it's going to be really cute. It's going to be, Emma sounds great. But then like I read in the introduction that Jane Austen was like, oh, Emma's only a character that I will probably like and no one else will. And I can definitely see where she's coming from, because she's just a very like headstrong, like kind of tyrannical like heroine, and she just ruins people's lives, like poor Harriet. And it's just, the love interest just wasn't as romantic as Anne and what's his name? Captain something.
Captain Wentworth.
Captain Wentworth. Like, the love interest in this wasn't as sexy as Captain Wentworth. Like, he wasn't even as rich. It's all about the money. And like everyone else in this just slightly got on my nerves a little bit, especially Mr. Alton. There's like a priest in this who's just like, just a bit creepy. And like he's coming on to Emma in the carriage, and she's just like, no. And it's just not, it just doesn't have that spark for me. And which was a shame, because the first 200, like 150, 200 pages I was like really getting through. And then it just kept going. And I was like, I just don't want to read this anymore. But I'd managed to get through it eventually with like audiobooks and like reading chapter summaries after I read it, because we go off talking about like tapestries for like 20 pages. Now I just get bored of that. But in general, it was about a 3 out of 5 stars. Obviously, it's really well written. It just didn't resonate with me as much as the other ones that I've read.
I actually didn't finish anything in January, because the first 2 weeks, like up until the 16th of January when I had my deadline, I just wasn't really reading anything, because All We Shall Know just slumped me and whatever. But as soon as I handed in my last bit of coursework, I suddenly just felt really in the mood for reading, and I picked up the Illustrated Chamber of Secrets, which was actually on my TBR. And I haven't finished this yet though, because I've read like a few things, so I'm about 100 pages through this now, and it's really, really good. I would have finished this if it wasn't for I went to spend a week with my boyfriend, and this isn't really like transportable. I didn't want to fill my suitcase with this, so I took a different book, which I'll talk about in a sec. But so I've only just got back to uni and actually like picked this back up again, but it's just delightful. It's just like such a new way to experience a story, and Chamber of Secrets I think is the one that I've like watched the film the least and read the least, because of all the spiders. And it's still quite young feeling without being like the nostalgic first book and things like that. But it's just really, really good. The art is absolutely gorgeous in this, and it just makes it feel really unique. So I will definitely be finishing this off in February, because I'm about halfway through and I'm just reading like a chapter a night, and it's just lovely.
The next thing that we've both read this month is Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. We're both about a similar way through this. We've got to read it for our D.H. Lawrence single author study module, where we're just doing D.H. Lawrence, and that's it. And Sons and Lovers, so far, we're actually really enjoying. We were quite worried about the general novels, because we love the short stories, we love D.H. Lawrence poetry, but the novels all seem to be quite... We had a stereotype in our heads that they were going to be miserable and about minors, and they are both of those things.
Yeah, but it's good.
It's good. It's actually really enjoyable. It's written really well. and it's just quite exciting. Like I don't usually
lot
get
happens.
excited
Yeah.
by classics, but there's always like a plot line, and it's not just like character driven and they just don't talk for half an hour. Things happen.
It's set over like a long period of time as well. Like, at least I mean we're about like a third halfway through, and it's spanned like 20 years already, kind of, in terms of just like dotting through key moments. So I was worried it was going to be like a 6 months, you know, like really boring like day-to-day stuff, but yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it as well.
It's really good.
So as well as reading 100 pages of Harry Potter, like 140 pages of Sons and Lovers, that's why I'm quite proud of this wrap up still, because I'm like, page wise we've both read about 600 pages, which would normally be a couple of books. I also have read 260 pages of City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. I have picked up a Cassandra Clare book, specifically a Mortal Instruments one, for the first time in a year and a half. I read City of All Angels in not the last booktubeathon just gone, but the one before.
Wow.
And before that I hadn't read City of Glass for like a year and a half.
Wow.
So I slowly getting through this series, but I just am really loving this. These characters, I just love them so much. I mean, apart from Clary and Jace, but they're okay. But they're not my favourites. But everyone else I absolutely adore. So much is happening, so much is yet to happen, and I'm just feeling the emotions. It's just such a like a fast-paced read. Like I read 250 pages, but that's been in a pretty short amount of time. I've only actually like picked it up about 3 or 4 times, and each time I've read loads because it's just really exciting. And yeah, I just can't wait to get to the last book finally, but it'll be Clockwork Princess after this, which I have over there, and would be on my February TBR, but too much uni stuff going on. But yeah, I feel very positive about finishing the Mortal Instruments this year, because I'm already picking this up and really enjoying it, and it'll be done soon, so I've just got to like, in the next 10 months, pick up City of Heavenly Fire, so I'm very happy with how this is going.
So that was our January wrap up. I quite like it when we kind of like talk about things we're halfway through.
Yeah, it's quite nice to like reflect on how it's going, and
I like
then
it
in our
when
next
it
wrap up, in our next wrap up we can be like our final thoughts.
Yeah, I like doing like updates on Goodreads and everything.
Yeah,
it's a thing. So yeah, there are all the books that we've read and half read in January, and it's slightly disheartening sometimes because we've got all these modules to read about, and obviously fun reading is kind of limited, but we've got a uni reading list coming up soon to show you, because we actually are loving our modules already, so this is going to be a great last term of uni.
Anyway, let us know down below what you enjoyed reading this January, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.